Hi, welcome back to ODE YouTube channel. Today I'm going to make a video that may be a little bit on the longer side, where I will show you it's just like a collection overview, and I will show you some pens of a specific region in the world. So today I'm going to show you the pens in my collection that are from Japan, that are made by Japanese brands. So these may be maybe a long video, and I will not do writing samples because not all of them have ink inside, and I just want to talk about them a little bit to you, so be aware that this video may get long. So let's start. The first brand I want to show you is Platinum. Platinum is a Japanese brand that I think many people know about. I will not go into historical details of the brands. I don't think we will have the time for that. I think it would take much more time. Maybe one day I can make videos by each brand. If you think that is maybe an interesting thing to do some research and to talk about, please say something on the comments below. So the first pen I want to show you is a Platinum Preppy. And the Platinum Preppy is a pen, very simple pen, very inexpensive. I have these for some years. I didn't use it that much. I bought it just to try it out. It came with a yellow cartridge. I used it a little bit and then I let it dry completely. And this is the Platinum. It has this nib, and it is a steel nib, 0.3 the tip of the nib, and I think this is an interesting brand and an interesting way of having a very inexpensive pen that can be easily eyedroppered. That's one thing they are known for. Another thing that many Platinum pens are known is by their seal on the cap, and they have usually good seals because of this. I think you can see here we have the inner cap and there is a spring there. So when you put the pen here, these will force the inner cap into the section, and this will keep the nib wet for a very long time to avoid evaporation. I have another Platinum pen, and this one is the Platinum Curitas, and this is the Smoke Graphite. I already made a review of this pen. You can check on my channel. This is an interesting pen because it is a retractable pen. Pilot has some retractable pens. This one is cheaper, but I don't think I get used to this. I don't think the nib is as smooth as it should be for my personal taste, but it is interesting, the idea to create a pen made of plastic, very inexpensive, with a steel nib, retractable pen, and with a clip that in this case becomes on the middle of your fingers when you're writing, and to have this clip removable if you don't want to write with it. So this may be this was an interesting creation. And these are the only two Platinum pens I have. I showed you before here Platinum 3776 Century, and also Platinum, what was the name? I don't remember, the Platinum Plaisir, but those pens are not mine. They were just on loan from Appleboom, so I'm showing you only the ones that I have in my collection. Now we jump from Platinum to a brand that I like a lot, and this brand is Sailor, and Sailor has these interesting pens that are called Sailor 1911 Profit Junior. The 1911 Profit is this kind of shape, and Junior because They have stainless steel nibs, silver colored and fully transparent. There are also the Professor, which is another version with golden trim. And this is one of them. This is the yellow one. This is the forest green, a beautiful green, and it has this very simple nib with the anchor, which is the logo of Sailor. Very nice pens, very interesting. And in addition to these two, I also have, this one is the most recent Sailor pen that I got, the Sailor 1911 Profit. This is a special edition Kurogane black in black, which is a black pen that is not transparent, or at least not obviously transparent, and it has a black nib. It has all black metal details. This is a very, very beautiful pen, and this one, unlike the others, come with a converter, and also the converter is black. So very nice touch. I really like this pen. The nibs, this nib is black, but they are all the same MF nibs, which means medium fine. They are all the same kind of nib. And from these we go up to, I say up because this is a step more expensive. This is the Sailor Procolor 500, which is very similar if you look at it. This is almost the same size, it's a little bigger, and it has a little better finish, and the nib has the different logo, and it is a little bit more stylish, I would say, and these come with converters. Interesting pen. And now we will move on to the final Sailor in my collection, which is the 1911 Large, and I like this pen a lot. This is a beautiful pen, black one, heavy, a very good resin, and this one has a gold nib of 21 karat gold. It says 1911 and it has the anchor, so the nib on this one is much more similar to this, but bigger and gold, and this one is a steel nib. But I really enjoy this pen. I have to say that both Sailor pens and also Platinum pens have some feedback, and I think it may be hard to get used to it. I like the feedback on Sailor. I would say the Platinum pens have the same amount of feedback as Sailor, but maybe because I started with Sailor pens, I find even if it is the same amount, I find it a very different type of feedback on the Sailor pens. And now let's move on to another brand. And so we go from the Sailor to the other pen that is the other brand that is a part of the three big ones from Japan, which are Platinum, Sailor and Pilot. And so here I have the most inexpensive pen on the Pilot line, or one of those. I'm not sure if I have another one that is quite inexpensive also. And this is the Pilot Petite 1. Very small pen, very, very small, as you may see, all made of plastic. A very simple nib without a breather hole, but has the shape of a breather hole there. Transparent feed, and this has this kind of cotton wick going down to draw the ink to the nib, and it also takes very small Pilot cartridges. This is a pen that I bought because I thought it would be fun to have such a small pen and to talk about it on the channel, but I ended never using it yet, but I will use it someday. And you can see it is a very short pen, but it becomes a usable size when posted, and it is inexpensive enough to take with you and write with it. Then we go from this pilot, this inexpensive pilot, to another very inexpensive pilot pen. This one, and this is the VPen, and this pen may not be what many fountain pen users think about. Think that fountain pens should be, and fountain pens are an object that will be kept and used and used and reused over time, sometimes over generations of people on the same family. This one is not one of those pens. This pen is a disposable fountain pen. When it is over, you just throw it away. I made a review of this some time ago. It is empty now, but I kept it. The nib is the same kind of nib. I'm not sure if it is the same size, but I think it is exactly the same kind of nib of the Pilot Petit. Maybe a different shade of color, but it looks similar. And it has a black feed, sorry, I'm forgetting the name, instead of the transparent one. It is also a click on place, and it writes quite well. It has a plastic clip, but that works quite well also, and this pen is not made to be reused. However, I know you can reuse it. I never did it yet, maybe because I just don't need. I have many other pens, but you can hold the nib and feed and pull them out and then fill it like if it was an eyedropper pen and use it as an eyedropper, which is what they are when you buy them. These pens are so good that when you buy them and you have them kept for months, it will never dry. They are really good. And you may think, but why should you have a I was saying transparent because I was thinking, you can see here the barrel is transparent, so you can see the ink level inside all the time. Why should you have a disposable pen? I think you should have you shouldn't have disposable pens, but imagine that you are in a congress or a seminar or an event of some sort, and you can afford to give the participants one disposable fountain pen. In my opinion, it's better than to give them a ballpoint pen, because a ballpoint pen is just another one that will be thrown somewhere. This one will be thrown away eventually, but this may be the start of that little bug that makes us want to try more pens, and I think it is an interesting thing. In the long term, maybe it is ecologically good. I'm not sure at the short term. The next pen is also an inexpensive pen that, as far as I know, has been discontinued. This is the Pilot 78G. It is a very inexpensive pen. There are Chinese copies of this pen available. I think they are really the same pen but with different branding. They have here Japan. This is just printed on the cap. It's not a real ring. It has Pilot on the clip. It has this very classical shape, and then you have there a nib that is made of steel and says Pilot Super Quality Japan F, and it's it. Very simple pen. It takes cartridges or converters, and it writes. By the way, maybe a converter like this will be more expensive than the pen, and this will be a very nice pen. I would say this is a very good school pen. Just maybe not that good for young people, because maybe it will not look that attractive. It's kind of a serious pen in terms of looks, black and gold and so on. The other pen that I want to show you, it's an interesting pen, because there are something in Japan which are called the pocket pens. I will show 3 of them later. But the pocket pens are usually pens very small that are made with a very short barrel, a very long cap that will be in the long section. They are quite short when kept, they are short when unkept, but when posted, they become very long in size. However, that definition, I'm not sure if this is like an official one, but it is the one that is in the Richard Binder's book about Japanese pocket pens, is that the pocket pens have push fit caps. This one has a thread, but this pen is quite interesting. This pen, I'm not really 100% sure of when it was made, but it is a pen from the 90s or even from the 80s, and it has that kind of very futuristic style that is no longer futuristic in our days. It has a transparent cap, so you can see the nib there and the section, very big section. The kind of materials is quite strange. The shape of the clip, it says there vortex, but I find this pen to be very, very good. So the shape is very odd. The clip is made of metal. It may look plastic, but it's not, and it unscrews with these very large threads there, and it has this very large section that is made of rubber, green rubber with a green transparent ring there. You can even see the inscriptions of the pilot nib through that green thing, and it is a very interesting pen. It takes cartridges. I'm not sure this can fit a converter. I wasn't able to do that yet. And as far as I know, this one will fit both pilot or short international cartridges, which is something very interesting. And if you say that this pen is short, you can write with it if you want, but if you want to hold them higher, or if you have very big hands, this will click on place, which is strange because you have to unscrew to take them off, but then they will just click on place. It will post to be a very large pen. So let me show you a full-size pen like this Sailor 1911, and this is the size. So this will become a very large pen. This pen is not made to be posted, so I would think the fair comparison is this, and you can see this one is much longer than the Sailor 1911 large. So this pen is very interesting, but you don't see it very often, and it is not made anymore, but I really enjoy this pen. And I would put, if I had to do a collection of pocket pens, Japanese pocket pens, I think despite it has the threaded cap, for me it fits into the description of a Japanese pocket pen. The next one is a pen that is one of the most well-known pens on fountain pen community, and this pen is the Pilot, not Metropolitan but MR. The difference between the Metropolitan and the MR, it's not on the design is the same, is on the filling system. These ones take international cartridges, long or short, and the Metropolitan takes the Pilot proprietary cartridges. This pen posts very well. It's quite comfortable to use. It has some step there, but then what I think about these pens, and don't get me wrong about this, they are good pens, but it is the same kind of the same nib of these Pilot pens, and I think they are inexpensive enough, and because they are made of metal, they can be quite resistant to wear and all that. What I find is that they are not that appealing to me, so I don't like them that much. At least I do not fall in love with them. What I think is that Pilot almost always has very good nibs on the pen, so these will write perfectly. No problem about this, the writing experience. That is why, because it is quite inexpensive, not very inexpensive, but about 25-30 euros you can get one of those. Because it is relatively inexpensive, because it is very resistant, because it's made of metal, I think this is a very good pen for a school pen. By the way, because I find I don't find that attractive. This one I got it in second hand in a store here in Lisbon, and I got it very cheap. I don't remember exactly, but maybe for 10 euros, so I bought it because that pen was not on my priorities. Another interesting pen that we can find for school use, and this is for younger people, is the Pilot Kakuno. And Pilot Kakuno is a very simple pen with the same kind of nib of the 78G, but it has a smiley face, and there are other faces on the nibs, and they are made of many colors. They take the Pilot proprietary cartridges or converters, and I think these are really, really nice pens, very interesting. I think they are really fun pens. However, because they are clearly school pens, these ones have a triangular shaped section to train your grip to use a fountain pen. I don't love that much, but it has a reason. It is a school pen, it's made for that purpose. And it also has something interesting. It has there a little roll stopper, although it is hexagonal, it has a roll stopper to avoid it to fall, to roll off the desk. Then the next pen is this one. This is a Pilot Capless, one older model. As far as I could understand, it is the C200SW, and this one is very stiff and the button doesn't work that well. Sometimes it doesn't retract. It is an older one. It has this kind of teal color. The interesting thing about this pen is that it is a retractable pen. It has this very small nib, but the thing with it is a gold nib. The thing with this very small nib is that this nib is different from the other Capless pens, and they have a different cartridge. They had this short double cartridge that would fit inside like this, and these are no longer made. Something very interesting. Pilot, because Pilot seems to care about their users, they still make a converter for this kind of system. I think it is the Con W, I think that's the name of it, and it is a converter that will fit this and will allow you to keep using this pen. However, I found that this cartridge will also fit. You cannot fit two, one on back of the other, but you can fit one, and this is a Sailor cartridge. This will fit, but attention, the Sailor cartridge will fit, the Sailor converter will not, because the Sailor converter has a very hard mouth that will not adapt to this a little bit larger attachment thing on the pen. So the cartridge that is softer will adapt to the section, and you can fit a Pilot cartridge, which is nice. You don't need to search desperately for a very expensive converter or to old stock of cartridges or used cartridges just to fill them up. This is another pen that I bought, and I like it a lot because I bought it on the flea market and it was ridiculously inexpensive, very, very inexpensive. And it has the gold nib, the same kind of system that I showed you before. This one is a little different from that one, but it is the same as the others. It will take proprietary cartridge or converters from Pilot, but this pen has a defect. The barrel broke, and I bought it broken already. So it misses this part. I'm thinking of doing kind of an adaptation there. I'm not really sure. I think I will do it even if in a different color, just to make something out of it. I'm not very worried because this works, but as I read, these kind of plastics are very fragile, they are brittle, and they will break, and you will not find a part like this because these will break very frequently there. So there's nothing to do unless trying to find your own stuff to prepare the pen, and I'm thinking of doing that someday, and if I do it, I will do it on video just for you to watch. The next one is a Pilot Capless, and this is the matte black, which is the modern version of that one. Instead of plastic, it is made of metal, not very heavy, just a little bit heavier. This one was the first of these stealth pens that had not the black nib, but I think now there are available black nibs. The inside is exactly the same. I almost haven't used this pen, and it is an interesting one. It looks very black. And speaking of this, I have also this one, which is the mustard yellow, the same kind of pen, very simple, very similar. This one has a steel nib, gold-plated steel nib, which makes it more inexpensive. And then my favorite, Capless pens. Maybe someday I will sell all the other Capless pens and I'll keep these two and maybe add some more of this line. These are the Carbonesque version, the blue and the green Carbonesque. They are called Carbonesque because they have a finish that may remind us of a carbon fiber finish, but it is not real carbon. The pens are just called Carbonesque. This is the green and this is the blue. Very beautiful ones. The black version is common, and then there was released a red one and also a white one. Maybe if I could exchange them price for price, maybe it will be hard because those are more expensive. I would almost exchange my 4 other Capless pens for those 3 colors that I don't have of the Carbonesque version because I really like them. The next pen is also a pen that I have already reviewed, and the pen is the Pilot Lucina. And Pilot Lucina is a very interesting pen. This is the first Pilot pen ever that I got. I bought in Lisbon, in a store in downtown that used to sell Pilot pens, not anymore. And I really enjoyed this pen. And why did I buy this pen? It was not very inexpensive. I think it was around 50 euros, and that time for me it would be a lot of money. But this reminded me of the Parker Dufold Big Red. So I bought this pen. It takes international cartridge or converters. It's not a very big pen, but it has a decent size and posts well. And this was the first pen that made me think how fine and well made and smooth for such fine nibs the Pilot pens are. So I was very impressed, and I was so impressed that when I could, I bought the yellow version. It was also available at least in black and blue, but I thought the yellow was great. I like yellow pens, so I think you have seen some of them here, the Platinum Preppy, the Sailor 1911 Junior, and the Capless in mustard, and these Pilot Lucina. Really enjoy them. And from here we move on to this one. Is my most recent one. This is a Pilot Elite. I showed you this pen, the unboxing, and I showed you also the filling system, how it broke, how I fixed it. And this pen is beautiful. It has a huge nib, this kind of inlaid nib, very well made. This pen is almost perfect. Made of sterling silver. It used to have how is it called? An accordion filler sac with a button there, but the rubber broke, so I created of a big pen, the cap of a big pen. I attached it to a Pilot cartridge. I glued them together and I made a cartridge for this pen, a special one. So I really enjoy this pen. This is one of my favorite pens today. The other pen that I'm going to show you is the Pilot Custom and the name they have for it is Black Stripes. It is a different shape of pen. It is not rounded, it has straight ends, it's not as girthy, and it has the same kind of nib. Very beautiful nib made of white gold. It writes wonderfully. It has a medium nib. It is a wonderful pen. It takes proprietary pilot cartridges or converters, and I don't have converters for all of them. I usually keep them with an empty cartridge inside. I got without a few pilot cartridges when I made these adaptations for this pen, so I don't have cartridge for all of them, and I thought this one had this beautiful, and I thought large nib, but when I bought this Pilot Elite, you will see what a large nib is. Not that one, this one. Beautiful. And before those, I bought Pilot Elite, and the Pilot Elite, this is the pocket version. Before that one I bought 3 of those. This one is a Korean version of the Pilot Elite. It was made for the Korean market. And you can see the pocket pens are made like this. They are meant to be shorter pens. Let me pick a full-size pen like this one. It is shorter, but when you post them, and they are made to be posted, you post it all the way to the end, it becomes a very long pen. So very nicely made. I really like it. This one has a semi-hooded nib. Then, at roughly the same time, I also bought this one. This is another Elite with a cross-edged pattern on the cap and on the barrel, and this one also posts to become a very large pen. And it also has these kind of nibs. After seeing this nib, that was when I went for the costume pen. And also this one, this is the Elite 95S. I also have a review of this pen. I think I have the review of all the 3 Pilot Elites, and this is currently available. This is currently made. The other ones are not, and amazing pen. This is really, really well made, and it is about 100 euros for a gold nib pen, which I think it's fair enough. And one of my most special Pilot pens, because I bought it also here in Lisbon, and it was a pen that it was not that cheap. It cost me a lot because I was not in a full-time job yet. I left the college and I was searching for jobs and doing some stuff and buying pens. And I got this one. This is a beautiful pen with a gold nib and a very unusual shape. I have a review on this pen on my channel. This is called the Pilot Bamboo, a very unique pen that you will not see very often on YouTube or anywhere else. And then we'll go for some more pens, and these ones are the odd ones, and I don't have many information about them, but I'm not talking about the brands. I know that this brand is Japanese, but I don't know much more. This pen was given to me. It was not. I have a Parker 51 that I got when he died. It was not mine, but he gave me this pen, and I like it. This is a Crest pen. It has this kind of cross-hatched pattern that comes all from the Parker 75, and this one is kind of a Parker 51 style. It has an aerometric feeling. It says nowhere that it was made on Japan, but it was. And this one has a tine of the nib is cracked. I used this pen on college a lot. I was writing a lot with that, and one day I was writing and it broke. Someday I'll try to open the pen and try to replace the nib, maybe for a nib of Parker 51, because I think this deserves, or for a Chinese tubular nib, I will have some around. Then these are 2 other Crest pens, and I got these from the flea market. because I enjoy Parker 45s, and these are almost perfect Parker 45 clones. And when you look at these, they are really almost perfect. They say Crest there. The cap has a little hint here on the feathers of the arrow. The feathers are all in the same direction. They don't make like the V shape. I think this was maybe to avoid copyright problems with Parker. So they made this version, and the nibs inside are really the style of the Parker 45 nibs, and these pens are aerometric fillers. They are not cartridge converters, as Parker 45 is. I have here my final Crest pen, and this was very strange because this pen is clearly an inspiration because of the pattern and also because of the shape and all the aspect of it, not much because of the nib. This pen I got also from the flea market, and I was some time ago showing it to someone that I know that knows a lot of Japanese pens. He was saying, yes, I think that is a Japanese, and we're talking about that. And I said, I never saw anything, and I never saw anything because sometimes I have a pen like this and I do this, let me see if it has, no, it doesn't say Japan on the other side. And I usually do this movement. I never thought of, I have this pen for years and I never noticed that. Maybe I'm not very intelligent. If I rotate it this side, it says Japan next to it, and I was always hoping to see it on the other side, and I never noticed it. So this proves that Crest is a Japanese brand. Now, let's go for the final pens from Japan. And this Crest, I think, no longer exists, and I have some interest in some other vintage pens that may be interesting. This one is one of those. This is the Navy. The brand of this pen is Navy, and the nib, it's very interesting, I think it's really nice. This nib, in my opinion, it reminds me a lot the kind of nib of a Waterman Carène, but this is not a copy of the Waterman Carène because Waterman Carène is a new pen, is a modern pen. This is older, maybe from the 60s, and it says there Navy, and the other side it says Fleet, and this is the name of the model. I already reviewed this. This is not a good pen, but it is very fun. Then I have 3 pens, all from the same brand. And these pens, you'll say, oh, they are Schiffer pens. No, they are not Schiffer pens. They look like, but they are not. And this brand is called Hartman. And I bought them in a store that was selling a lot of mostly broken pens, and I got some of them, 2 of them there and one someplace else in the flea market. And these pens, I think they are made of celluloid, very beautiful pattern. They are transparent on the ones that seem darker stripes, they are transparent and you can see the nib there. And I think these are beautiful. The brand of this pen is, I'm not sure if you can read it there, it's Hartman. And these Hartman pens are nice. They have this conical, this one is a little deformed, I think, this conical sized nibs, and they are fun to look at. They have this aerometric filling system, and this one is completely broke, so someday I may try to fix that. And this one is the same pen, just in brown. However, this has a problem that I don't really know how I can fix it, because there's something missing on the pen and I don't know what will be the best approach. It has some residues here, so I think this pen was sanded, or it had some kind of very serious accident there. And one of the problems of this pen is that the clip is loose, but it's completely loose. It is missing some part that would go there and fix the cap on place. So the same nib, but this one is not in working or in this one is in worse shape, although the sec works. And finally I have also this one. This one is a lever filler, so here it is. It will move this to depress the sec that has to be replaced. And this one has a different nib with a heart-shaped breather hole that I always find very nice to look at. So they are not very big pens, but they are very classy, very beautiful, and I think my favorite is this one. I really like the look of this material. It is similar to that one, but this one is very regular in those honey colored stripes, and this one is more random. I like this one a lot. I also think the red is very classy. And to finish, or to end this very long video, I know, I warned you, I have another brand that is not very well known, and I don't know if it is good or not because I didn't clean the pen or use it yet. I bought this at the flea market some time ago. When I see those kind of pens that are very inexpensive, and mostly because I think they remind me of some other pens. I don't remember why I bought this one. Maybe this was just because I was buying something more from that seller. When I see something that reminds me of a pen that I like the Crest ones that remind me the Parker pens, or the Navy that remind me the Waterman Carène, when I see fakes or pens that I find interesting, I get to buy them. And I did that with this one. And it is a brand that, not sure if it's written there, maybe not, I don't remember. This is a skater pen. It has this kind of shape that you find in many Japanese pens from the 60s and 70s. I said Japanese, I was trying to say from many German pens, like some Kavekos and some even Montblanc. And you can see there, skater. This is a skater pen, but it says it doesn't say in any place that is made in Japan, but this is a Japanese brand. So this is also another interesting pen, very uncommon, at least for what we are used to see. I'm not used to see this aluminum cap that is ribbed, and at some time it is coated with this very smooth finish that has some flaws there already, but this is junk pen. This is an interesting pen. I need to see if it works someday, to clean it and to put in rotation, just to see how good it is. So this was my collection of Japanese pens, modern, vintage. Some I will keep. I think that I will get to the point that I will sell some of those. I will definitely keep buying some more Japanese pens. And this is all that I had to show you. I hope this was helpful, interesting, entertaining, whatever. If you liked it, please don't forget to hit the like button. If you have some comments to make, please use the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. This is all for today. I will see you next video. Bye.